The whole Chinese New Year festival represents the wealth, health, success, and love. So why not just have a traditional Chinese Spring Festival? Yes, you can celebrate it. Here in Dublin. Sounds like a plan, huh? Well, thanks for the Dublin Chinese New Year Committee. This plan will just come true. So today we have two guests from the committee. Hi, Declan and Amy.
Ni hao.
Hello.
Well, you can speak some Chinese, huh?
Just a few words.
Okay, Amy, are you Chinese?
I am indeed.
How long have you been in Ireland?
I have been in Dublin for 13 years.
Whoa, that's pretty long. So if you are Chinese, you probably know if you ask the Chinese people how they gonna celebrate their holiday, they would say 吃喝玩乐.
Indeed.
Yes, that means have some delicious food to eat, have some performance to sit there and watch, and have some special activities to take part in and play. So do you think the Dublin Chinese New Year includes all those things?
Definitely. We have very full program for the 2 weeks, start from 1st of February till the 14th. And we have, well, this is the 4th year for the Chinese Dublin New Year Festival, so we have Carnival, Chinese New Year Carnival on Wolftown Square on Saturday the 5th, and we will bring a lot of performances from traditional Chinese music and Tai Chi display, and we will also have a rock band, and the lead singer is half Chinese.
Wow, that's good. Let's just start from eating. What if I want to eat some traditional Chinese food? Any suggestions for me?
Yeah, I think the carnival is probably a good place for people who kind of experience Chinese food. We do a lot of hot and cold food down there on the day. People can come along and get dumplings or traditional noodle soup.
I miss that so much.
Yeah, but I think it's also important, I suppose, for Dublin people to try out a lot of the local restaurants, the Chinese restaurants that are around Dublin. When you look at Parnell Street, Capel Street, and even around the south sides of George Street and stuff, it's great to see all the different restaurants, not just with what I suppose we would see as European Chinese food, but very traditional Chinese food from North China, from Peking, from Hong Kong, and also Malaysian, Korean, outside China.
There's a lot.
And there's so many there, and I encourage people to come out and try these restaurants at the time, because there's some fantastic foods that you mightn't have tasted before.
Well, you know, back in China, when they have the big family dinner, they would also watch the Spring Festival Gala as well. So do we have performance?
Yeah, we try to combine at the carnival especially a lot of traditional Chinese performances. So we have different traditional entertainment like lion and dragon dances, and also Tai Chi, and that's performed at the Leung Ying Academy. And they've trained very carefully in the whole practice, and I think they're quite one of the best, I suppose, I've seen of the lion dances, as the way others would do them. We'd also have kind of traditional entertainment, music, dancing. We're working with the Chinese Scholars and Students Association, who have gathered a lot of different entertainment acts across Ireland from the different educational establishments. And then also we have kind of contemporary Irish, Chinese music, and as Amy mentioned, a rock band, Dirty Epics.
Oh, that's a lot of performance. So are those performers from China or from Dublin, from area?
There's a mix. I suppose what we've tried to do is draw from the Chinese community here, and there's so much kind of talent and creativity in the Chinese community and across Ireland. But we also have kind of traditional entertainment from China. So it's trying, I suppose, to mix and give a whole Sino-Irish flavour to Carnival, and also to the other events right throughout the 2 weeks.
Wow, that's really good. I'm definitely going to watch those special performance. So Amy, you know, when I ask my Irish friends whether they have seen any Chinese movie, all of them would answer me, yes, The Crouching Tiger and Hidden Dragon. It's such a pity. It sounds like all Chinese movie is only one. I mean, so do we have any special movies in this festival?
Well, yeah, we have something very good for you then. We're introducing the very first Dublin Chinese New Year Festival this year, and we bring in 12 Chinese films on board. Yes, and it's a different types film. Well, it's different 12 films, so hopefully there is every film for everybody. And there is we are introducing the very special films. One is the world premiere of Blood Oath. I don't know if you know
that. I know that. It's actually one of my favorites.
Great, yeah. It's starring Gong Li, and the director Stephen Shane will be here with us on the night.
Really?
Yes.
Well, the director would come.
He's here for the world premiere, yeah.
Wow, I would go to that place. Where is it?
It's on it's on in Screen Cinema.
Screen Cinema.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the second film, and it's Yip Man 2, Ye Wen
Kung Fu.
Kung Fu,
Yeah.
Danny Yan, and that will be the.
Ye Wen is actually my hero.
Really,
in my heart, yeah.
Well, Yip Man 2, I think a lot of audience, or even Irish and audience will know, because that's Bruce Lee's master. So
Yes.
yeah, he's famous, and it's Yip Man 2 will be its European premiere. Yeah, so.
Okay, so we've got good movies, we've got delicious food. What about activities? What if I want to take part in some activities?
Yeah, the 2 weeks have a lot more as well. We have kind of different arts and crafts sessions for children in all our Dublin City Council libraries, and that's right across the city. Also in the Hugh Lane Gallery, the main Dublin City Gallery in the city, and also in Chester Beatty Library. So there's lots of different arts and crafts, from paper cutting to lantern making, that people can learn. But also we have a lecture series that we're running with the Chester Beatty Library, but also in other institutions, National Library of Ireland, Trinity College Dublin, and the Botanic Gardens, right across the 2 weeks, because I think people are really interested in hearing about the connections between China and Ireland, and I suppose the new developments that are coming up. And one of the things we're having this year is a lecture on porcelain, because Chinese porcelain has become incredibly collective, and huge prices for it paid in the last while. So we're having a lecture in Buswell's Hotel on Friday the 11th of February from 4:30 to 6:30 with Alan Fletcher, who's an expert in Chinese porcelain. But also we're inviting people to come along with their porcelain that can be valued in the day. So maybe you have something at home that you didn't realise, especially for Irish people who have Chinese porcelain at home. They might have something from one of the dynasties that could be worth a lot more, as we've seen in the Doro collection earlier this year. There's also lectures on arts and crafts, on journalism with Margaret Ward from RTE, on botanics and gardening out in the Botanic Gardens, and then Dr. Rusha McCormack is giving a series of lectures at Chester Beatty Library on her whole kind of comparison between China and the West, which is interesting.
Wow,
and
that's good.
you also have other activities. As a state circus, the Chinese state circus is coming to the Helix in DCU.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
Chinese Kung Fu again.
Again, it's Kung Fu and martial arts are playing a big part this year. Kildare Village down in just Kildare will be hosting people for the 12 to 13, doing the Chinese crafts and special performances there. And then Dublin Zoo, once again working with us, have a whole Asian trail, and they have some New Zealand rabbits, and I think those rabbits are still little buddies. So people go along and see the New Zealand rabbits over there.
Okay. So it is the first one?
No, this is our 4th official festival. We've been going since 2008. We started in the year of the rat, at the start of the cycle, and it's built up every year. I mean, Dublin City Council is quite strong behind it, in the sense that it develops, like all of the other cultural festivals we do, good integration and a strong intercultural feel for the city, where lots of different people from different communities get to know each other and educate and kind of join in each other's culture, and also brings business to the city at a kind of a quiet time of year. January, February can be a quite time of year for the city, so it's bringing life and kind of activity and colour and diversity to the city.
Okay, how's the last three? Were they very popular in Dublin?
It's grown very well. Like last year was quite a strong year. The year of the tiger, we had a big focus with Dublin Zoo, because they had 2 little tigers there born in time, 2 twins born in time for the year of the tiger.
Cute tiger.
Kapala, the dad there, and the mum, I can't forget their names now. We knew them so well last year. The year before that was the year of the ox. Was a big focus on business and on developing, I suppose, the carnival. And then the first year of the rat, we kind of introduced, I suppose, a whole range of activities and Sino-Irish connections for Dublin.
So who came up with the idea to have a Dublin Chinese New Year festival?
I suppose it's kind of older than people think. It's not just 4 years. We're kind of officially organised over 4 years, but the Chinese community in Dublin, 1, they would be the 2nd largest, and 2, they would be the longest here in the last century.
That's true.
They arrived since 1950, so they would have been celebrating along with their families the Chinese New Year anyway. I think it was probably through food. I think people maybe focused more on Chinese restaurants around this time of year. They saw what amazing food they were coming up with and what they were celebrating, and they wanted to experience it more. And then in the last maybe 10 years, you could see the whole, I suppose, maybe further opening up of China, the fact that China won the Beijing Olympics back in 2004, and people were working towards and looking towards what they were going to bring up. So that interest in China became stronger. The Chinese community in Dublin were stronger, and they wanted to celebrate. So that's how Dublin City Council get involved to try and help support the businesses, support culture and develop it. But the Irish relationship with China was much older. I mean, people don't always realise that it probably goes back to 17th, 18th century, because there's a great, in the Jerusalem McCormick's book, China and the Irish, she does show the examples of how, for example, in Burghcastle, Lord and Lady Ross, who's the 7th Earl of Burghcastle there, have connections going back 3 generations with China. His uncle had lived in China, Honorary Desmond Parsons, was fascinated with Peking opera and brought a huge amount of silk and back. He died very early, unfortunately, and a lot of things were brought back which influenced China and Ireland. The botanical collections, we've huge gardens which would have lots of collections of Chinese plants and Chinese trees. You have, I suppose, the interest in the silk and porcelain, probably through the British Empire, really, because the British Empire would have impacted on the East a lot, and behind that was the Irish people, a lot of Anglo-Irish people, and they would have brought kind of Chinese collections back to Ireland. There's a really interesting little book called The Silent Traveller in Dublin, written by a Chinese gentleman who travelled here in 1948. He came through America but wrote about China. That's a beautiful little piece. We'll be developing that next year. So all these connections are there, and they build up then, I suppose, with business, with economics, with culture, right through the 50s, 60s, 70s, and academics. I mean, the amount of Chinese students, I suppose, here in Ireland is a huge impact.
Quite a lot.
You know, you see it in UCD, DCU, Trinity College, and how that has opened up an entire kind of, I suppose, new connection, a new generational connection. And also then, I suppose, again, when we see the Beijing Olympics and how brilliant they were in 2008, that introduced a lot more Chinese culture to people: kung fu, dancing, martial arts, the food, the mythology, the history, etc. But also Ireland is 7,000 years old. That would be, we can trace our roots back that long. China can trace its roots back to 9,000 years old. So they're very similar traditions, mythologies, archetypes, things like that.
Wow, Declan, you are really an expert.
I don't know about that, but you learn a lot as you do this festival. You learn, that's what's fascinating about this festival is it's something that brings all the institutions and all the different connections together and almost brings them up out of the ground and unroots them and finds them. And there's some really fascinating ones that come up every year.
Okay, let's come back to our festival. We talked about movies, we talked about the delicious food and some aircrafts workshops. What else? Any suggestions, any recommendations for me if I want to go to that festival?
We also have an animation seminar as well, and that's on the 4th in Wookiee venue. And so on the 5th, we will be introducing an animated film in IFI in Temple Bar, and that will be a film that everyone will know in China, especially the children. It's called Ma Lan Hua, the Magic Actor. Yes, and the director of Ma Lan Hua, Mr. Yao, will be traveling over from Shanghai Film Studio, so he will be with us on the 5th.
He will be with us again. When is that again?
That's on the 5th of February.
Okay, no problem. I will go to that place. Any others?
The seminar is really interesting because I suppose China is very interested in animation in Ireland because we have Cartoon Saloon and Brown Bag Films here who have got Oscar nominated for their animation. The Book of Kells, for example, was Granny O'Grim were nominated for the Oscars last year. So there's a big interest from Chinese animation businesses in Irish animation, and that seminar will look at doing business with animation in Chinese in Ireland. So that's a key one. It's something new as well with the film festival as well. But all the information is on our website, dublin.ie/CNY. We're also on Facebook and on Twitter, so we'd love for people to follow us because there'll be competitions there to win tickets to the cinema, to win tickets to the circus, etc. And also special VIP tickets to the world premiere, the VIP party to meet Director Stephen
Okay,
Shear.
I'm going to do a research and go to all those activities. Thanks for giving us such a great festival, and thanks for coming to our studio. That's all for today's Hello China. Okay. Don't forget the Spring Festival Gala in National Concert Hall next Monday. Last but not least, 过年好，新年好，Happy Chinese New Year!